Good morning, students. That is, I think you have studied the chapter solution up to azeotropes, isn't it? Azeotropes. Then we recollect the important points that you have already discussed here. Okay, you know, solution means it is a homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous. The word homogeneous means we cannot distinguish the different component or different phase of a particular mixture. Such a system is called a homogeneous mixture that contains two or more components whose composition or proportion cannot be varied. That is called a solution. For example, sugar solution. Sugar solution means, you know, sugar. The definition of sugar is a carbohydrate, sweet in taste, soluble in water, having crystalline shape. Already it is in physical state, is in solid state. When that sugar is dissolved in water, that is in liquid state, after the dissolution, we get we are not able to separate sugar or water from that mixture. Such a system is called a solution. And in a solution, the component present in smaller amount is called a solute, while the other in large amount is called a solvent. That is, in sugar solution, sugar is the solute while water acts as the solvent. A solution containing two components is generally termed as a binary solution. Binary solution, and if it contains three components, it is called a ternary solution. Binary as well as ternary solution. And mainly we are discuss about this liquid solution. Instead of that, solutions are of different types, such as solid solution. Solid solution means here both solute and solvent are solids. Both solute and solvent are solid. Anybody can give an example for such a system? Solid solution. I think you are familiar with alloys. Alloys are homogeneous mixture of two or more metal or metal and non-metal. That is, from that mixture we are not able to separate different constituents. That is, brass. Brass is a mixture of copper and zinc, but we are not able to separate brass and copper and zinc from that mixture. Similarly, one of the example is alloys. Liquid solution, that is, solute and solvent are liquid. That is, alcohol and water. Alcohols are thoroughly miscible with water because of its remarkable property called hydrogen bonding. Due to the formation of hydrogen bonding, alcohol is thoroughly miscible with water, but once the alcohol is mixed with water, we are not able to separate alcohol and water from that mixture. That is an example of liquid solution. Then both solute and solvent are gases. You know, air. In atmospheric gas, it is a homogeneous mixture of different gases such as nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, argon, etc. But we are not able to distinguish nitrogen or carbon dioxide or oxygen from the mixture. It is an example. Example is alcohol and water. Here example is air. That is, normally we are discuss about the liquid solutions, but in addition to this there are solid solution as well as gaseous solution. Next, what are the different method of expressing concentration of a solution? Method of expressing concentration. Method of expressing concentration of a solution. First one is mass percentage. Mass percentage means it is the mass of solute present in 100 gram of solution, and mathematically it is expressed as mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100 is the expression for mass percentage. In addition to this, if mass is replaced by volume, it is called a volume percentage. And the presence of pollutants in air as well as the content of fluoride in toothpaste, it is very negligible. That negligible amount is expressed in terms of ppm. ppm means parts per million. Parts per million pollutant. In biological oxygen demand or the presence of dissolved oxygen normally expressed in terms of ppm level or parts per million. And next is normality. Normality means number of gram equivalents. Number of gram equivalents of solute dissolved per liter of solution. That is normality. Next one is molarity. Molarity means number of moles of solute dissolved per liter of solution. That is mass of solute into 1000 divided by molecular mass into volume of solution in ml. That is for calculating numerical based questions, we usually use this formula, that is mass divided by molecular mass gives number of moles. Number of moles dissolved per liter of solution is called molarity. And next is about molality. Molality is the number of moles of solute dissolved per kilogram of solvent, that is mass of solute into 1000 divided by molecular mass into mass of solvent in gram. That is molality. And you remember one thing, that molality is independent of temperature. Molality is independent of temperature. And anybody can answer this question. For the same solute, 1 molar or 1 molal. For the same solute, it's 1 molar or 1 molal is more concentrated. 1 molal or 1 molar. You just expand what you mean by 1 molar solution. 1 molar means 1 mole of solute dissolves in 1 liter of solution, isn't it? While molality means 1 mole of solute dissolves in 1 kilogram of solvent. Hence, number of moles per unit volume is more in 1 molar. Hence, it is more concentrated. That is, 1 molar is more concentrated than 1 molar for the same solute. And last one is called mole fraction. Mole fraction. Normally it is represented by using chi or x. Mole fraction means it is the ratio between number of moles of one component to the total number of moles. Number of moles of one component. For example, if a solution containing two components A and B, let the number of moles of A is Na and B is Nb, then mole fraction of A, that is Xa, equal to Na divided by Na plus Nb, or Xb equal to Nb divided by Na plus Nb. And sum of mole fraction is always unity, that is equal to 1. Okay. Then, can you find out the mole fraction of 1 molal aqueous solution? 1 molal. aqueous solution. What is the mole fraction of 1 molar aqueous solution? 1 molar aqueous solution means 1 mole of a solute dissolves in 1 kilogram of water because it is an aqueous solution. 1 kilogram of water means 1000 gram of water. Number of moles present in 1000 gram of water equal to 1000 by 18, that is equal to 55.5. Therefore, mole fraction of 1 molar aqueous solution is equal to 1 divided by 1 molar, 1 divided by 1 plus 55.5, 1 divided by 56.5, 0.0173. That is, this is the previous JEE as well as NEET exam, all India level entrance exam level question, mole fraction of 1 molar aqueous solution. That is about the different method of expressing concentration of solution. Next we discuss about the solubility. Solubility means it is the maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in a solvent at a given temperature. A solution in which no more solute can be dissolved at a given temperature is called a saturated solution. Saturated solution. Then, what is the criteria of solubility? First one, the criteria of solubility depends upon the nature of solute and solvent. We normally use a phrase that is like dissolves like. Like dissolves like means if both solute and solvent are polar or solute and solvent are non-polar, they are thoroughly miscible. Polarity, you know. And solute, if the solute is polar and solvent is non-polar or vice versa, then they are immiscible. That is indicated by this phrase like dissolves like. Then second one is temperature. Temperature. As temperature increases, normally dissolution also increases. And one more thing you have to remember is that the dissolution of gas in a liquid is accompanied by the evolution of heat energy. That is, when a gas dissolves in a liquid to form a solution, it is an exothermic process. Due to that reason, aquatic species are more comfortable in cold water than warm water. Or in other words, this previous board exam question. Either the question asks like this, aquatic species are more comfortable in cold water than warm water, or fishes are more comfortable in winter season than summer season. The reason is that dissolution of gas in a liquid, that is fishes or aquatic beings mainly use dissolved oxygen. As temperature increases, the availability of oxygen in the water decreases. That is why they are more comfortable in cold water than warm water. Next term is about vapor pressure. Vapor pressure means it is the pressure exerted by the vapors collected above a liquid at a particular temperature. The condition is that the system is at equilibrium, that is contained in a closed vessel. That pressure exerted at the surface of a liquid is called a vapor pressure. The temperature at which the vapor pressure becomes equal to atmospheric pressure, that temperature is called a boiling point. Boiling point of the liquid. When a non-volatile, you know what is the difference between volatile and non-volatile? Volatile means easily vaporizing. Okay, for a solution containing non-volatile solute, this represents volatile solvents. To that we add non-volatile solute. Some non-volatile solute is added to this solute is non-volatile. Can you say what happens to the vapor pressure of the solution as compared to pure solvent? When a non-volatile solute is added to a solvent, vapor pressure of the solution decreases. The reason is that some non-volatile solute cover the surface of volatile solvent and prevent its vaporization. That is why this is the main point you have to remember is when a non-volatile solute is added to volatile solvent, the vapor pressure of the resulting solution is less than that of pure solvent. That is, when a non-volatile solute is added to a solvent, vapor pressure of the solution decreases. That is actually known by the term called lowering of vapor pressure. Okay. Next is an important law that is called Henry's law. Henry's law. Henry's law states that the partial pressure of a gas in vapor phase is directly proportional to its mole fraction, or P equal to Kh into X, where Kh is called Henry's law constant. Kh is called a Henry's law constant. As the value of Kh increases, solubility decreases. This is very important for the examination. Henry's law, state Henry's law and suggest or mention its application. The important application of Henry's law is that, soda water or any aerated soft drinks are filled at a high pressure. Soda bottle is sealed at a high pressure to increase the concentration of carbon dioxide. And the second one, at a higher altitude, the partial pressure of oxygen is very low. That is why the availability of oxygen in the blood and tissues of people living at higher altitude also decreases. That leads to a state called anoxia. Anoxia means lack of proper thinking capacity. And the third one, the tank carried by the scuba divers, those who dive in sea, scuba divers, they normally contain, or deep sea divers contains air diluted with helium to prevent the toxic effect of nitrogen. Toxic effect of nitrogen, that toxic effect is called a bend. Air contains about 78% dinitrogen and 21% dioxygen. This is the constants of major constants of air. The condition of Henry's law is that as pressure increases, solubility also increases. The pressure at the bottom of sea is very high, therefore air is thoroughly miscible with the blood. As the diver moves towards the surface of the sea where pressure is very low, oxygen is mixed with the blood, while nitrogen is present as the bubbles in the blood vessel of the diver. That creates pain. It is called a bend. That is why, to prevent the toxic effect, it is mixed with the helium. These are the three applications, major applications of Henry's law. Next is modified Henry's law, that is called Raoult's law. Raoult's law. One of the definitions of Raoult's law is that for a solution containing volatile component, partial pressure of each component is proportional to its mole fraction. Volatile component, it is applicable only in the case of volatile component. Or Pa equal to P0A into XA, or partial pressure of volatile component is equal to the product of partial pressure of pure component and mole fraction. That is Raoult's law, one of the definitions of Raoult's law. A solution which obeys this Raoult's law at the entire concentration and temperature is called an ideal solution. It is called an ideal solution. Practically, there is no ideal solution, but if we decrease the concentration of solute, certain solutions behaves almost ideally. By decreasing the concentration of solute, certain solutions behaves almost ideally. That is benzene, example benzene, toluene mixture, normal hexane, normal heptane mixture, ethyl chloride, ethyl bromide mixture are examples for ideal solution. The condition for an ideal solution is Pa equal to P0A into XA, delta H mixing equal to 0, delta V mixing also equal to 0. Delta H mixing means by mixing the two solutions, there is no evolution or absorption of heat energy. Similarly, there is no change in the volume by mixing the two solutions. That is the criteria or condition for an ideal solution. If two solutions A and B forms an ideal solution, then A-B interaction is same as that of AA as well as BB interaction. AA as well as BB interaction is same as that of AB interaction. And the graphical representation of an ideal solution, how we can represent an ideal solution graphically? That is, here y-axis we use vapor pressure, here mole fraction, XA equal to 1, XB equal to 0, XA equal to 0, XB equal to 1. That is P0B, P0A, here total pressure, P total equal to PA plus PB. This is for an ideal solution. And mainly most of the solutions, as in the case of we discussed about the test or studied states of matter. In that case, we discuss about ideal as well as real gases. Most of the gas deviate from ideal behavior. In the same way, most of the solutions deviate from ideal behavior. Such as solutions are called non-ideal solution. For such a solution, Pa not equal to P0XA, delta H mixing not equal to 0, delta V mixing not equal to 0. And non-ideal solutions are of two types. Non-ideal solutions are of two types, one with a positive deviation and other with a negative deviation. Non-ideal solutions with a positive as well as negative deviation. For a solution showing positive deviation, Pa greater than P0A XA, delta H mixing greater than 0, delta V mixing greater than 0. Here negative deviation Pa less than P0A XA, delta H mixing less than 0, delta V mixing less than 0. And what is the condition for exhibiting positive deviation? In the case of positive deviation, in the case of an ideal solution, that is if A and B exhibit this positive deviation, in that case AB interaction, the interaction between these two solutions is weaker than AA as well as BB interaction. As a result, what happens? The vaporizing tendency is more compared to the individual solution. And for such a solution, this represent, the solid line represent for an ideal solution, and positive deviation. Here the dotted line indicates positive deviation. Here the partial pressure as well as the total pressure will be greater than that of an ideal solution. The reason is that AB interaction is weaker than AA as well as BB interaction. Alcohol water mixture is an example of this solution with a positive deviation. Acetone with carbon disulfide, ethanol water mixture, all this exhibit this positive deviation. And in the reverse case, if a solution exhibit negative deviation, then AB interaction is strong. As AB interaction is strong, the vaporizing tendency or escaping tendency is less. Therefore, what happens? The partial pressure as well as the total pressure will be less than that of an ideal solution. Here this dotted line represents the vapor pressure and the total pressure for negative deviation. Acetone, chloroform acetone mixture, nitric acid water mixture, etc. are examples for solution exhibiting this negative deviation. And normally, in order to assess whether you understand this concept very well, that is, if we mix two solutions A and B, 10 ml of solution A is mixed with 10 ml of solution B. The volume of the resulting solution is found to be 20.1 ml. What is the nature of deviation do you expect from Raoult's law? Those who understand these two deviations thoroughly, only they can answer this question. That is, here we have two solutions A and B, and 10 ml of A is mixed with 10 ml of B. Volume of resulting solution is found to be 20.1 ml. Definitely, since delta V mixing greater than 0 will be higher than that of the individual volume, definitely A, B exhibit solutions with a positive deviation. Then two solutions A and B are mixed. When the two solutions A and B are mixed, it is accompanied by the evolution of heat energy. Some heat energy is liberated. What is the nature of deviation do we expect from Raoult's law? What is the nature? By mixing two solutions A and B, it is accompanied by the liberation of heat energy. What is the nature of deviation? Just think, compare these two types of deviation. One is positive, and what are the criteria or condition for positive deviation, and next what are the condition for negative deviation, and which condition is satisfied by this particular condition. That is by mixing. Yes, that is the correct answer. That is delta H is negative, hence it is delta H is negative means exothermic process. The delta H is negative or less than 0 only for negative deviation. Hence, these two solutions exhibit negative deviation. Okay. And the next part is about azeotrophs or azeotropic mixture. Azeotrophs or azeotropic mixture, they are generally called constant boiling mixtures. A mixture of liquid boils at constant temperature. Mixture of liquid boils at constant temperature without any change in the composition. They are called azeotrophs. Azeotrophs are mainly exhibited by non-ideal solution and are of two types. The two types is maximum boiling azeotrophs and the second one is minimum boiling azeotrophs. This maximum boiling azeotrophs are mainly exhibited by non-ideal with negative deviation and minimum boiling with non-ideal with positive deviation. Okay. 68% nitric acid plus 32% water exhibit maximum boiling azeotrope, while 95.4% ethyl alcohol plus 4.6% water forms minimum boiling azeotrope. Already told you that they are constant boiling mixtures. Then next question, can we get absolute alcohol? Can we get absolute alcohol from rectified spirit by simple distillation? Clear? Before that, you know what you mean by absolute alcohol as well as rectified spirit. Absolute alcohol means 100% alcohol is called absolute alcohol. 95.4% ethanol is called rectified spirit. Can we get absolute alcohol from rectified spirit by simple distillation? That is, you know, rectified spirit is minimum boiling azeotrope. By simple distillation, we never get absolute alcohol from this rectified spirit. Special method, that is called azeotropic distillation. Azeotropic distillation is adopted for the conversion of rectified spirit to absolute alcohol.